Everybody, welcome to MD Power Hour Live. Yes, live, because it's the day and a half after the Arnold Classic. We're going to review it all. Myself with the one and only. Ooh, I need to stop that. That was another video. So sorry, guys. Did I just stop the?
Everything's fine, Ron. Nothing happened.
Okay.
We're still
Are we
live.
still live?
Yes, we're live.
Oh, geez, guys, sorry. So this is that's what happens when you're live.
Live.
Joining me, Giles Tiger Thomas, all the way from the UK, was not here, but he watched eagerly and he was very, very happy at the choice of the champion, Samson Dauda. He's been calling it for a long time. People said he was crazy. Nick Walker's going to win. Andrew Jack's going to win. Samson, I don't think Samson has a chance. Big Ramy's going to win. All kinds of people, but yeah, let's start there, Giles, with the champion. If we could pull up his routine, Jen. Fantastic showing for the Nigerian Lion. 297 pounds of sculpted perfection. Wow. Bodybuilding is entering
Hang on, how much?
Yeah. She said he was 297. He said he was actually a little bit heavier than he was at the Olympia.
Yeah, 3 pounds.
Yeah. Wow. Who does that in the space of 10 weeks while he's already been in prep for 4 months prior to starting prep for this? Oof. Yeah. So Giles, talk to me. You had him on Global many times. You've watched him from day one. You were telling us about this guy like 5 years ago. We're like, yeah, come on, Giles. He's okay, but I don't think he's gonna be that great. But you believed in him, Giles.
Well, Sunday morning, I was sat on the toilet with tears rolling down my face. I was so happy, mate.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice.
I was honestly because the thing is, I was filming Global Sunday, so I wanted to make sure that I switched my phone off, and I didn't until I literally woke up on the Sunday morning. I deliberately didn't want to watch the live stream because I wanted to get it recorded for Global yesterday, which we did in the studio with Derek. Nice. We did it yesterday. And I tell you what, it's funny because the live stream really does tell a different story to what the photos did. Because like when I was looking at the photos, I was thinking Nick deserves third here, not second. But when I watched the live stream, I can see why Nick got second. He was really, really well conditioned. But anyway, we'll come to Nick in a second. But Samson, he did what he could to improve between the Olympia and the Arnold. He brought better conditioning. He brought better separation. I think he actually put a little bit of size on in his calves, and also his radial bicep was a more impressive. In fact, you see it on Global, next episode of Global. I showed the most improved bodybuilder article I did in the latest issue of MD, this one, and I showed there's a picture in there, the radial bicep from the Olympia. And I tell you what, go and have a look at that picture and compare it to the photos from the Arnold Classic this weekend, because in 10 weeks, what he did was absolutely astonishing. And what I'm really, really happy about is because I was messaging Samson a lot Saturday and Sunday, and Milos, and he was messaging back voice notes and photos. And I said on day one, I said, I'll be honest, day one, I think Andrew Jack's got you here, mate. I said, but it might be like with Hadi and Derek at the Olympia last year, where Hadi came out weak and got better, whereas Derek kind of looked great when he first came out and just kind of maintained. And I said it all depends what happens in this 24 hours between the prejudging and the finals, between the Friday and the Saturday, from what I could see, whether it depends whether you win or not. So I said you need to sort your tan, your sheen, get it more overall. I said, and if you can dry out and fill out that little bit, I said, you can squeak past Andrew and win this. And he said, yeah, he says, I want to make history because obviously he's the first Brit to ever win the Arnold Classic. And this is the biggest win British bodybuilding has had since 1997. So in 26 years, we've never had an Arnold Classic champion since it started in '89 when Rich Kaspari won the first one, and yeah, this is history, and it's $300,000, and it's gone to like literally one of the nicest guys in the industry, and he's a genuine nice guy. He's never changed. He's always been very, very good with MD. Amazing. I always say to him, I said, mate, I said, if only every single pro wasn't as easy to work with and promote as you are. I said, you're always professional. You're always on time. I said, you're so easy. You make yourself so available for us. I said, and it's a pleasure to kind of promote you and see your rise, So to see this, like I said, I had tears rolling down my face. It was just pure joy. The fact that he won, don't forget, this is only a second pro win. I mean,
Right,
Arnold
geez.
Classic, he beat a 2-time Mr. Olympia. He beat, you know, all these 212 Olympia champions. I mean, it's mind-blowing. He beat the third place guy at the Olympia. And let's not forget, when he won that pro show in November 2021, the Prague show.
Giles, did you drop?
He's frozen on
Oh
us.
no, Giles dropped.
That's
Huge
okay.
body weight, because
Love
he's
it.
not.
Giles,
I mean, he is.
You dropped for about.
okay?
You dropped for about 5 seconds. Can you repeat
seconds.
what you just said?
Okay. Yeah, so basically, when he won his last pro show, which was the EBLAS Prague in November 2021, it's only not even a year and a half ago, he was 270 on stage. So here he was weighing 297.
Yeah.
And not only that, he's managed to improve his aesthetics. I think his aesthetics are even better now. They're even more impressive. But I tell you what, when I saw the posing routine, we recorded it live on Global, and you see my reaction, I can see why he won straight first. Because I thought it was touch and go. It was a flip of a coin between him and Andrew Jacked on the Friday and the Saturday. But I tell you what, when I watched the live stream, and I watched it, you know, with my own eyes and stuff, I can see why he won straight first both days.
Yes.
So, and it's funny because the frontal bicep on the first day, Andrew definitely took him. But what he did by improving the color, the condition, and the fullness and everything on the second day, it's like it completely flipped, and he definitely beat Andrew even in that pose, and that is Andrew Jack's best pose. So, mate, I'm absolutely overjoyed. And like I said, I've been messaging him back and forth, and he was keeping me updated. I copy and pasted and put it on the forum,
Nice.
so people could see the dialogue we'd had. But he's over the moon. And also big shout out to Marlenka, because she was the one who convinced him to be a bodybuilder, not just helped him.
Wow.
And I think, and we all know the story. All know the story of everything he's gone through, and when he lost his job, when he went to Korea, and everything he went through in 2020, wasn't it? When you think about that,
Korea and
really
everything.
know and you know the journey. It's like, it's such a feel good, and it's one of the reasons I just love bodybuilding so much, because nice guys can finish first. So anyway, I'll stop rambling on about Samson, but I'm one happy Brit today.
I could have.
Just real quick, I know he on his social media he put up pictures of before bodybuilding. He was a rugby player. Is that what he used to do?
Wow.
You would never ever have suspected that guy could transform into this Samson Dauda that we see today. He was, if he's, let's say he's 6, what do you think, about 6'1", 6'2"?
I think he's my height, 6 foot.
Okay, well, I'm going to use pounds because I'm an American. I bet he was no more than 190 pounds before bodybuilding. I doubt he was even 200 pounds. He looked pretty lanky to me.
Wow.
So, man, this guy's come a long way. Let's go to... Yeah, go ahead.
Also, did you ever, I think another thing I think this is bigger than the Arnold Classic win. The fact that, did you ever believe that even 5 years ago, you could say there's a pretty much near 300-pound bodybuilder on stage, and he has the most aesthetic physique in the entire lineup? Would you ever have imagined that you'd think 300 pounds, they're going to look a mess? Do you know what I mean?
Turtle shell gut out to here. Because that's typically what you see when someone's that heavy.
That's true.
I also, sorry, can I say one final thing before we move on to the other competitors? Is and thing is, you're scrutinizing the video and the photos. He can still get better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He can still improve the conditioning. He can still improve certain body parts, which will make, because his front lat spread is a weak pose for him. I would say that's his weakest pose. He looks like he could have more size on there, and he'd look better for it. But thing is, you've seen what the way he improves from show to show, from the Prague to the Arnold Classic last year when he was 280, then 294 at the Olympia. Now he's 297. And he's obviously, like I said, he's gone from having not a weak chest, but I think now he's got probably the best chest in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
His back can still show more improvement, which he can do from now till, because it's 7 months to the Olympia. But the thing is, say 1998 version of Flex Wheeler when he won the Arnold for the third time. Really, you look at that, and if Flex Wheeler came up to you and said, how can I improve, Ron? You'd be like, well, your condition's pretty much perfect. Your physique is perfectly symmetrical. If you get bigger, you might lose those aesthetics. But with Samson, you could give him a tick list of things that he can improve on, things that he can then take and get a plan together, Milos, and work on. I honestly was thinking about this morning. I think there's a real serious conversation for what he does in the next 7-8 months. Knowing how he improves, I think there's a real conversation for him being able to become Mr. Olympia this year.
I think you're right.
Yeah. It's a year ago. If you had told me that, I would say, Giles, whatever you're smoking, please give me some. But no, there's no way that guy's gonna be. Maybe in 5 years or so, he could be threatening the Olympic title. But he did it so quickly. He made such incredible progress. Even last year when he was at the Arnold and the Boston Pro, I said 2 or 3 years, this guy's going to be awesome. But I didn't think he was going to pull it off this quick. Congratulations, you're right. Samson and Marlenka, just such wonderful people, such genuine, humble, down to earth people.
Can I ask you, Ron? So he's got the Olympia plan, obviously, probably in place already. What would you, if he came to you and asked you now, what would you say that he needs to do from now until the Olympia to be in a conversation for actually winning this year? What do you think he needs to do?
More condition. I think he needs to build up his abs a little bit more. They kind of go in that front lat spread pose. They really flatten out and go away. Where I feel if he had a little more development, maybe that wouldn't be the case. Condition for sure. Back can still be a little bit better. That's really it. I mean, condition, deeper, clearer separation. I don't see why he can't win this year. This is, we'll be having this conversation, of course. But.
And also, I said this to Derek yesterday, and I said he's a black guy with good calves. Because think about how great his legs are and how great and how nicely he flows. It's just icing on the cake, that the fact that he's got really nice calves. I mean, he's also improving them as well. I mean, I saw big improvements even from the Olympia, and that was less than 3 months ago. And it's funny because you didn't come to the after dinner gala, did you? You did, didn't you? You did.
I was sitting with you. You don't remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. At the end. When we sat on the table, and then Milos. Yeah, not enough. There was Milos and his wife, I forget her name, and then Samson and Marlenka. And then Milos went off to get some food, and I said, "Oh, come on then, Samson, mate." I said, "You're now top 6 in the Olympia." I said, "Please tell me you're doing the Arnold." And he went, "Oh, yeah. And he was so tired as well, he could barely stay awake. He said, "Oh, yeah, we're doing the Arnold." So anyway, Milos comes back, sits down, and I said, "Milos," I said, "Samson's got something he wants to tell you. Go on, Samson." And he said, "We're doing the Arnold." And Milos just went, "Yes!" He says, "I was really hoping you'd say that." Because, Milos would have been on his case anyway. So I think he knew he was doing it. But what a story, eh? What a story.
So happy for him. So let's move on. Second place was an Arnold Classic champion. Third place, the Olympia. On paper, we were all saying this is the favorite to win. The last time we spoke, I said, if you asked me to put money down, I would have to bet on Nick Walker to win. So if we could take a look, Jen, at Nick Walker, the runner-up, a totally different look. This is an apples and oranges between Samson and Nick Walker's look. This is just outright hardcore, freaky bodybuilding. So much thick, dense muscle. More of like the Branch Warren, Jay Cutler type of physique. Just an assault of brutal mass. And he brought crazy, crazy condition. I just wonder. There's a question for you, Giles. If he had come in fuller, like he did at the Olympia, do you think he might have beat Samson, or was Samson still going to win?
No, I don't think he would. I think he brought a really good package, actually. I really like this package. I think he was nice and full. And I tell you what, hats off for bringing. I like it when you can depend on guys to bring condition, because I was talking to Shawn Clarida this morning, and because I was congratulating him. I said, "Mate, you did yourself proud there by doing that." I said, it's nice to know that you and Nick Walker both delivered on the consistency of your conditioning, because some of the live stream on the one laptop I was watching it, everyone kind of looked soft and watery, but then I'd watch it on the screen and everyone looked great. It's just the difference of, different devices you watch things on.
Right.
And, but even Nick, even on the laptop where everyone looked soft, he still looked shredded. So his conditioning was great. I was really impressed, actually. Like I said, I was in photos, I was kind of pulling him apart like I do, because like I said, I do think his physique, there's a few things he could do to his physique to improve. But on the video, he looked absolutely fantastic. And I like the fact he's putting effort into his posing like he did at the Olympia. But for me, his chest flattened out a lot from the Olympia. I feel like his chest is really, I think that's where he definitely did lack fullness. I think it was just a case of being on diet for that long. Sometimes it always comes off one or two body parts. And in this instance, it came off his chest. Do you know whether he was lighter or heavier than the Olympia?
He told me in an interview, and I can't recall right now. It's all a blur. I do believe he was a few pounds lighter. And this was, I think, this was a wise choice. I mean, the fuller look, I just wondered if that would have helped. But condition-wise, I've seen him at every pro show that he's done. and this was by far his best condition. And his
Yeah.
posing, I was really impressed. He's becoming a much better poser. You know, he's only done a few pro shows, so of course it was going to take a little time. But I don't. Is Flex Lewis working with him? Somebody's been working with him.
Rachel Daniels.
Okay, Rachel Daniels,
Okay.
the real Lois Lane. His transitions are so much smoother. He's hitting like kneeling poses, lunging poses. It's refreshing to see something, because a lot of these guys, they don't care about their posing. They don't work on it. Nick didn't want to miss anything. So, yeah, I mean, it was close. I think it was close because it was just two very different looks. Samson had, you know, arguably the same amount of size. If you 298, 297 pounds, I mean, he's so big, but with just a prettier physique. But Nick, man, he wasn't. You could see. We'll go to the awards later, but he was not happy. You know, he's a champ. He's a competitor. He was there to win. So when he doesn't win, it's a big letdown. But you know, nothing to be ashamed of. He looked phenomenal.
Well, in terms of, I mean, I purely from what he did at Olympia, the actual, when I talk about posing, the actual posing routine, he's really leveled up on that. I mean, I'm so happy about that, because I thought he didn't, I mean, you couldn't even say he had a posing routine before. It wasn't. It was just compulsory. A couple of most musculars walks off. But now I really respect the fact he's really put effort into that. So, you know, the two things I go on about, conditioning and posing, right. These are two things that he is absolutely, you know, really leading the way on. So I really respect that. But the other thing, the other posing, is how he performs in the compulsories, the mandatories, and the prejudging. I mean, even with the New York Pro, when he won that, the Arnold Classic, he is an absolute master at this. He's like Lee Labrada, the way that you pay attention to the details of, like, even when he's back in the lineup, he'd make sure his legs, his quads, and his abs were tight, and he was like a statue. He didn't move. He was very composed. He knew the judges' eyes were on him all the time, and I think all other pros could take a leaf out of his book, because the way he hits his poses, he's the first, like Ramy was at the 2020 Olympia. He was the first in, the last out. He wasn't gassing. He wasn't, you know, he holds the pose. He doesn't, like somebody said, like, I love the fact he doesn't do 10 variations of the same pose. You know, like, you call for most muscular, I think you should do maximum 2. You should do the you know, the one that suits your physique, and then basically the standard, like, you know, the crab most muscular, but instead of doing like 10 different ones and trying all these different angles in like 5 seconds.
Sorry to interrupt, but when they say your favorite, it's not plural. It's favorite. Pick one. Same thing that happened, but they all do a hand on hip, a one hand on hip, a crab, a this or that. Same thing with classic. Your favorite classic pose. They all hit. Some of them hit like 3 poses. Yeah. But yeah, Nick Walker, man.
But Nick, the way he shows real, like, composure and confidence, and he really, like, when he was punching the air and he's doing all that kind of out of control crazy shit, the fans love that, because I was at the Olympia, and I mean, Lauren was loving it. She was like, yeah, you know, I guess kind of all of it, you know, okay, whatever. But you know, but he also has this other side where he's really, like, he really commands the stage, and I think that's a real advantage for him. And I think this is something other pros need to study, because I tell you what, he kind of takes over, and he kind of rules when in the prejudging is when it counts, you know. And it's only those 8 poses to get right. So choose your best pose, choose how it suits your physique. Like Ramy was doing frontal bicep at the Olympia, and he's doing abs, and he's like, it shows insecurity. But whereas Nick, he's really, like, I really love the way he's So anyway, I thought he looked good. From the photos on the first day, I was like, no way does he deserve second. He needs to be third. Maybe even Clarida and Ramy potentially, you know, in that 3rd, 4th, 5th spot, you know, depending on what happens. But I tell you what, when I watched the live stream, he was an absolute solid second. So, really impressed with what he brought. And he came very close. But unfortunately, you know, going up against someone like Samson, who's that aesthetic and, you know, obviously ticked the boxes. But like you said, 2 completely different types of physiques there. But good on him. And it'd be exciting to see what he brings for the Olympia now.
Yeah. Let's go to 3rd place. Andrew Jacked. A lot of people had him. We'll go to the poll results later, because it was very evenly, wasn't it, Jen? It was 33, 33, 33, pretty much.
It was super close. I stopped it right before the finals of the Open, so that, you know, it would be locked in and they couldn't cheat or do anything more after that. But it was so close. I mean, it was like 33, 33, 32.
Yeah, so Andrew Jacked, if we could take a look at him. You know, I had an argument with somebody, because a few days before the show, I commented on one of his pictures, I said, you've come further in 1 year from first contest than anyone I know. And some Nick Walker fan says, what about his pro? I didn't. What about Nick's first year as a pro? I said, I didn't say first year as a pro. I said first year competing, because a year ago, the Arnold Classic amateur last year is how Andrew got his pro card, and he's done so much in 1 year's time. But look at that. That was a fantastic package. Best we've ever seen him.
Ron,
yes.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. What day was this from? Day 1 or 2 that we're watching now?
I think that's his finals routine from Saturday night.
I would say so.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Saturday night.
Looks good here.
I could tell by the light display.
You can actually see some glute striations in him, which I never saw in any of the other pro shows before this. Hamstrings are really, really dug out for the first time. That's been the area that I wanted to see improvement. Condition glutes and hams. I know it's not a glute and ham show, but at this level, when you're trying to win the Arnold Classic Ohio, and later on this year he's going to be gunning for the Olympia. You can't have any soft areas on your physique. But look at how hard and separated those quads were.
Incredible.
Fantastic. I'm sitting next to Jose both nights, and he has the same. He was coached by Aceto. Chris Aceto was behind me, and they were picking apart, and they had him clearly as the winner. And I think a lot of people, obviously by the results of the poll, did too, because a lot of the same attributes as Samson. He's this massive guy with aesthetics, with tiny joints, and the posing. Man, he hits all those splits. The crowd was going bonkers for this guy, and rightfully so. It's a brand new type of physique that who have we really seen in recent years that with the Samson and Andrew combination of size and aesthetics? I can't really think of anybody.
That's a good question.
Someone said that he's like a hybrid of Flex Wheeler, Tony Freeman, and I can't remember who the other one was, but yeah, I mean he's a superstar, and the fan base that he has proves that. People love to watch him. They get inspired by him, and you could have made it. I think you could have made a case for him winning if you really wanted to. He wasn't far behind. I didn't look at the scorecards, but he couldn't have been that far behind Nick and Samson.
Samson got straight 5s both days.
Okay.
Wow.
So, which I was surprised by, because if the show had been on the first day and it all had been done in 1 day, I would have had Andrew winning. Because for me, he was leading the way. And if you read all the comments on, and I was only looking on Instagram because I deliberately didn't watch the live stream. I just looked at photos and videos, like screen grabs of the live stream, and I was watching it on my phone. And for me, Andrew was out in front. I mean, and I was like, okay, realistically, we know Samson can get better. Will he get better on day 2? He did. With Andrew, like I said with Derek at the Olympia, Derek Lunsford, it's like, okay, has Andrew peaked here for day 1? And is he going to be able to even maintain this look for day 2? Is he going to get better or is he going to get worse? For me, he kind of flattened out a little bit for day 2 and he lost kind of some of the pop. And I think it was enough for Nick and Samson to get past, which is exactly what happened. But he's definitely the best condition he's brought. I think he delivered on that. For me, this was the best version I think we've seen so far. He definitely has lost some of the pop, some of the impressiveness when he was a little bit fuller, which was what everyone was kind of worried would happen. I was surprised he got best poser, because for me, Samson did have the best posing routine as well. It was a good routine, but I don't think you should give someone best poser just because they can do the splits. Seriously, come on. I watched it a few times, and if you watch Global on Wednesday, you'll see, and I'm going, okay, this is a very good routine. But for me, I thought Bonac had a better routine. I thought Samson definitely had a better routine. So I was shocked by that. But for me, yes, this was a good package. But he definitely still, especially on day 2, like the back shots, you see when he's just hitting the lat spread there on that footage, he looks like he can fit a lot more size on. He can fit a lot more fullness.
What does he still need? And that's really it. A little bit more size.
Yeah. It's just I think Samson now is he is a little bit thicker and fuller than Andrew. He looks like
I'm sorry to interrupt. I want to interject for a second because we're getting some chatter from our chat. Chat wants to know, basically, there's, they think we're Andrew Jack haters. But they want to basically know what exactly it was that pushed Samson over the edge from Andrew. Ron, you were there. What did you see more so with Samson that differed from Andrew to give him that edge?
I just think he's got a slightly more complete physique. That's it. I still want Andrew's back to be a little thicker, a little more detailed, although the condition was great. Don't get me wrong, but everybody can be better. More hamstring development, in a little better condition. Yeah, I wouldn't have been rioting if Andrew Jack had won. I wouldn't have been upset. Any three of those guys, I think they were all worthy of a win. The score sheets show that Samson got straight first from all the judges, but it was closer than score sheets would indicate, I think. Yeah, Andrew's phenomenal. I do think, his legs are all already. God, look at those quads. A little bit more size, not much more. He's enormous, but just I still don't think he's a finished product. I think he's got a little bit more work to do, and then look out. He's going to be almost unbeatable. I mean, who's got these genetics?
He does look. This is the sharpest I've ever seen him in this footage, but he does look very flat here.
Yeah,
he definitely sacrificed fullness for conditioning here. I mean, like
those calves.
And the calves. I mean, look at them. How can you not look at that now? Can you just pause that? Can you pause that?
Hold on.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah. I mean, look at the calf. You can see where it's gone in the middle. Like, hang on, just scroll back a few seconds, please, Jen. Like, okay. Now there you go. Now look. Are you telling me you can't see? Let me see the shine. You know where the shine? That's usually an indication of where it's being filled.
Oh.
I don't think that looks subtle. I think that looks. And the thing is, if it's close, you're just basically giving the judges an opportunity to mark you down. So, and to me, and I even if you're an Andrew Jack, super fan, I think you'd be very hard to not see that. And like I said, at this level, the Olympia and the Arnold, it's these tiny, tiny little details that the judges are looking for. So you can call me an Andrew Jack hater all you want. I'm telling you, that will play a part. You're making the judge's job very easy. I think it's not like he's got bad calves anyway. I don't really understand why he's done that.
Okay,
so
here's Samson over here.
There you go. Samson just looks 15. He looks like Andrew Jack would with another 10, 15 pounds. He just looks more complete. He looks denser. He looks thicker. He's not as sharp as Andrew. But overall, if you're ticking boxes, for me, Samson just looks like the more complete bodybuilder. And do you know what I find crazy about Samson? He's 300 pounds, and the way he moves, it's like he's 150 pounds. I mean, he looks like he could run 100 meters in 12 seconds. Do you know what I mean? And not be. It's incredible. Blows my mind.
I will say,
how can you be athletic looking at 300 pounds? It's incredible.
This is the poll right before the finals. Look how close that was from our YouTube community. That's out of almost 2,500 votes.
I don't see it. Can you put it on screen?
See, we're still just wowing over Samson.
Oh, that's right. Still showing the video.
we're still fanboying Samson, everybody. No.
Yeah. Wow. So
I think Andrew actually has a better structure. He's wider. His clavicles are so wide.
There we go.
So I'm saying when he fills out a little bit, look out. Okay, so that was the poll.
Wow. Holy shit.
Wow. 33, 33, 32. And then Shawn got, wait a minute, that's more than 100. How's that possible? Right?
Hang on.
No. It's exactly 100. Yeah. You're right.
6.
Okay, so yeah. So Andrew had slight edge. And Nick had a slight edge. By 1%, they both had a slight edge over Samson in the viewer poll. Interesting.
101% in total.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this, is kind of irrelevant, but social media numbers. Andrew and Nick are tremendously popular. Samson too, but Nick and Andrew have much higher followings, so of course their fan base is a little bit bigger. Very loyal fans. I totally get why the Nick fans are upset, why the Andrew fans are upset. They're both incredible bodybuilders, and they're both worthy of the title. Nick's won it before, but when things get that close, somebody's got to win, and somebody's got to take second, somebody's got to take third.
Look, that top 3 was incredible. I mean, you had Ramy, who looked so much better in Olympia, taking 4th. He wasn't even in consideration for the top 3. You saw where the judges were moving him. I mean, this was actually a better Ramy than we saw when he won the 2021 Olympia, in my opinion. A lot of people are saying that.
We bring that up to
I mean, let's bring it Ramy.
Because
Ramy, like I said, I did a complete breakdown in global, but for me, Ramy, well, bring up the footage and I'll give you whatever. But
all right, 1 sec.
Like, I was really impressed. I was really happy because didn't I say to you, Ron, on the last power, I said, I just hope he comes in better in Olympia, because if you take the 2020 Olympia as his 100%, that was his best package. last year's Olympia a few weeks ago, that was what, 50, 55. I think he's like 75, 80 compared to the 2020 Olympia hit. I mean, he looks so much better. But I mean, I still think he's on the slide. But the conditioning, the color, the lower lats didn't look, and obviously because he's a little bit fuller, the lower lats were popping a little bit. The inner calves were a little bit fuller. And the arms still are down, but they definitely weren't as bad as they were at the Olympia. I think this was a good 20% improvement from the Olympia. So I really look at that. And also, like in the radial bicep, his triceps, if you look across, were flat at the Olympia. Now they've got more of a hang.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, Ron, what was your take on it? What was your take on it?
I agreed. He was much better than the Olympia. And if he had looked similar to he did at the Olympia, I would say this guy needs to hang it up. His body's just, it's done. He had a great run, a 10-year run as a pro, and he won the Olympia twice. It's time to ride off in the sunset and do other things. But this gives me hope, and I'm sure it gave a lot of the Ramy fans hope as well, that if he was able to recapture that much of his best look in 10 weeks, give the guy until November, I think we could see another. It's not out of the. I don't know if it's possible he can ever get that look exactly again, but if he can get like 90, 95% of that look in an ideal situation, you know, he could possibly recapture his title again. Some people are writing him off. A lot of people are writing him off, saying he's never going to win the Olympia again. But based on the improvements I saw him make here, I mean, I don't think anybody should be writing him off. Not just yet.
I don't know whether. The thing is, you got to look at it. It's like I'll be honest. I don't think he'll win the Olympia again, but I still think he could hang in the top 5, top 6 for the next 2 to 3 years.
Yes.
So what would you do? What would you do right now if there's no chance that you're going to win the Olympia again? You know, and thing is, like this Arnold Classic, I think really signified that there's a changing of the guard. You know, the new guys are coming in, and then the older guys are kind of like Bonac and Ramy. They are starting to slip, you know, and whether they can even maintain a certain look for 2 to 3 years, does that mean they should still continue? I guess that's down to them.
You just said what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's just because. The thing is, like, I mean, it's not all about winning the Olympia. He can still win pro shows. I mean, that was a good look. I mean, you know, I mean, I don't think he was really in contention for the top 3, basically, but by way of the judges. And he did bring a good package. His conditioning was good. He looked night and day different. You know, I mean, he's definitely managed to claw back some of the greatness. I mean, you were at the 2021 Olympia. You were at this one. Was this the better package of when he won his second Olympia or not?
No. This is close. No, because he still has the lower lats and the triceps are still not where they were a couple of years ago. But he's getting closer. But back to the question as to what we're not his managers. We're not telling him what to do with his life. But if he does the Olympia and he looks better than he did here, and at this Olympia, let's say he doesn't do any better than 4th or 5th, I would hang it up because like he could go win a bunch of other shows. But when you've been Mr. Olympia twice, are you really going to go to these other shows and win? I mean, what kind of victory is that? Like you've said before, he's got this fan base that's a huge fan base. He's built this reputation. He doesn't need to compete anymore. He's done. He's made his reputation. He's set. He can do anything he wants. He can open gyms. He can start his own supplement company apart from, I'm not saying to leave his supplement company, but there's so many possibilities, so many opportunities for this guy beyond the stage. And, he has a family. Maybe he'd like to spend more time with his family instead of being off prepping all the time. I don't know. But just props to him for coming in better, and props to Chad Nichols, because usually we don't see physiques. Once they start really going down, we don't see them ever make any improvement after that. It's just a continual slide.
He's at the point where kind of Ronnie was in the 2007 Olympia. When he dropped to 4th, and maybe arguably he should have been lower. Oh, yeah. But Ronnie said, like, if it wasn't for his back problems, he would have carried on competing, and he just would have done lower level shows because he loved it so much. He loved competing. He loved bodybuilding. And he's, like he said, he was happy to just go win, like to step back a level and go and win smaller shows and just make top 6 or maybe just top 10 at Olympia. And he was willing to keep going, even if it meant he was never, ever going to win the Olympia again. Wow. So I guess it's like that point now where, like you said, he either accepts he's never going to win the Olympia again, kind of lets that go, but just still thinks, well, I can still bring a good package and I can still make top 6 and for the next 3 to 4 years, realistically. I mean, I don't ever I mean, he's like, he has managed to claw back with these injuries a little bit, and maybe a couple of years of stem cell, and if that is really going to help, let's give it time. Not this one shot, and it's going to cure miracles. Do you know what I mean? It's going to make miracles happen. Maybe that could keep him, in the fight for the next couple of years, and really kind of, because thing is, even before he won the Olympia, he was very up and down. Remember, he was second in 2017, then he was sick. Then 2020 won it, so he's got a history of going up and down. He's a bit of a roller coaster his career. So,
and while you said that, can you bring up that picture of the crab most muscular in the gym that I sent you, Jen? While we're talking about Chad,
incredible!
Chad posted this. It's such a freaky picture. I wanted everyone to see it.
That was conditioned.
Yeah, I mean, that was Wednesday before the show at a local gym, Pro Gym, I think it's called.
I really respect the fact that I'm actually on the fence. I'm kind of flip-flopping between. I respect the fact he did the Arnold, and the other point.
Brutal. Does that remind you of Dennis James, crab most muscular?
Yes.
Back in the day, yeah. That's who I'm instantly reminded of. Branch, so thick, so grainy. Jen, what does the chat have to say?
Well, the chat says we're going to talk about something Mike Cox just said. Mike Cox, our fantastic Noble Forum legend, MD correspondent, and supermod. Mike says they loaded Ramy's quads and delts hard. What's your opinion on that?
There was a picture. You don't have to bring it up. There was a picture backstage of Ramy, basically in the front relaxed pose, and his shoulders did look a little squared off again, just like they did in that infamous picture a couple months back. It was maybe like 6 weeks out from the Olympia, where everybody was saying his shoulders are full of oil and this and that. And then we saw later on, like a week or two later, they looked kind of back to normal again. So I don't know what they're doing in terms of injecting crap or not injecting crap. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, fans like Mike, if Mike picked up on it, Mike's been following the sport for a very, very long time. He's been to a lot of shows. When he says someone looks like they've got some stuff going on, some dodgy body parts, I would tend to believe him. I would tend to agree with him.
Yeah.
But you could see in that picture, the detail and everything was still there. It's not like they were shiny and lumpy.
I'm seeing stripes.
Yeah, stripey delts. So whatever they're doing,
and also, see, look at the difference between his calves and Andrew Jack's, because obviously he's put something in them. But to me, his look like they've been done well.
Can we look at the side chest shot, Jen, from that black? It's not. It looks black and white, but it's not. It's just the sunlight.
Ron, look at his left calf. It looks good, and it's whatever he's done it well. If you know what I mean. Wink, wink.
We're gonna do the other. Hey, a lot of these guys inject stuff, and you never know. If they do it very well, you never know. So yeah, that's the side chest, also taken from Wednesday before the show. Look at that. Look at the striations there, the separation.
Right. The shoulders do look. Even though there's lines going on his shoulders, I just wish he wouldn't do that to make him look wider. Because for me, that makes him look like he's got a coat hanger in his. To me, that spoils the look. But I think obviously I'm in the minority, because a lot of the people, they don't spot it. They just see these wide clavicles. But for me, it detracts. It actually detracts. But like I said, I think most people don't notice because they don't know what they're looking for. But for me, I don't think it looks good.
Okay. So we're just going to take a look at one more individual, Shawn Clarida, and then we're going to look at a little bit of the judging call-outs. So if we can bring up the giant killer, Shawn Clarida, who I talked to him yesterday at the Expo. He was happy with 5th place. He wanted to win, obviously, but like we said, it doesn't take the shine off of his 212 Olympia champion status, 2-time Olympia champ. Just the fact that he went in there, and they did have a call-out with him and Ramy, which was purely for the crowd, purely for entertainment value. They wanted to kind of recreate that famous 1993 Olympia posing between Lou Ferrigno at 6'5" and 315 pounds and Flavio Baccianini at 4'10", 130 pounds or something, whatever it was. So, yeah, Shawn, this isn't even as crisp. It's the quality's a little bit degraded, but when you were there in person, or if you're watching the pay-per-view in 4K, condition was, when is he not just perfectly conditioned? Striated, dry, grainy, every little muscle fiber showing. And, pound for pound, if he's 5'2" and 100, what they say, 185 for this show?
Hang on. I've got something here. I messaged him today.
Oh.
He was 181 pounds Friday morning.
Wow. Look at that. I mean, for 181 pounds to be up there, in the same top 5 as 297, 290. I think they said Ramy was 308 or something.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, he was heavier than ever, I think.
On the squads.
Yeah, but Shawn, look at that. Just that's the only pose of his I'm not a big fan of, is his front lat spread. It's a good pose, but it just exposes his lack of clavicle width relative to some of these other guys. But shots like this, just phenomenal. His rear double, so complete. He's not missing anything.
I'm curious, what was the
Yeah.
scorecard between Shawn and Ramy? How close were they?
We'll look it up. Samson actually posted it, so let's take a look.
I'll try to find it on here too.
I saw it on Samson's Instagram.
If I was, I don't know, if I was a short bodybuilder, I'd rather look like Shawn than Nick Walker. I think he's got a nicer shape. I like his small waist. I think for me, he's a freakier bodybuilder, but he's probably never going to beat someone like Nick, but I think he deserves to. But I tell you what, it was, I don't think it was just for the crowds, that thing at him and Ramy, because I tell you what, no one would have argued if he'd have beat Ramy, and Ramy looked good. Yeah. Would anyone have rioted if Shawn had been placed fourth instead of Ramy?
Honestly, after Friday night, I thought he was beating him. I thought he was going to be fourth, and Ramy was going to be fifth. Yeah. So the final analysis in the scorecard, Ramy had a total of 41 points. So the judging, judging was 21 and 20 points for Ramy. Clarida was 30 and 31, and he ended up with a total of 61 versus 41 for Ramy. So Ramy beat him by a full 20 points in the final analysis. But it doesn't take anything. Shawn looked phenomenal, and talk about the hero of the short man and the lighter man. 181 pounds. Everybody he beat was over 100 pounds. Ramy was 115 pounds or so. So that's fun. And he almost beat him. He came very close to in my eyes. He almost beat him Friday night.
He beat the best Akeem we've seen since the 2020 Olympia. And Akeem in the 2020 Olympia was the only guy in that top 6 that was really hanging with Ramy in terms of size.
Yeah.
And I know that's only one part of the criteria, but that's bloody impressive, because this was probably the best, like I said, the best version of Akeem we've seen for 2 years, and he's incredible. Yeah. But I messaged this morning. I said, mate, I think it really, like you said, it doesn't take the shine off your 212 Olympia win. I said, you've really done yourself proud by making top 5 and also more than holding your own in this lineup. I mean, say he'd have been 4th, or I don't know, maybe 3rd's a bit of a stretch, but no one really.
Let's bring up the first call out, Jen, while we're talking, if we could do that.
No one really would have complained, I don't think. So that's a real achievement in itself. So I said to him, look, mate, your legacy now you should be really trying to go after Flex Lewis's record of 7 wins. You've already got 2. I says, and in the meantime, you could go and win a dozen Open Pro shows. I says, you're in a really good position now for the next 5 years. I says, if you just, stay smart and keep pushing, which he will. I think that could be his career in a few years' time.
Either one of those judging from the Open judging, Jen, either one of those would be fine. Just so we could see some comparisons. Yeah, Shawn, that look Shawn brought would have won, almost every other Open show that I've been to in the last couple of years, easily.
There you go. And the thing is, he can, and it doesn't take the shine off anything he does at the 212 now. So he's in a really good position.
Yeah. So right now we're looking at, this was the first call out Friday night. Shawn Clarida, Nick Walker, Samson Dauda, Andrew Jack, and Big Ramy. Yeah, crazy first call out. I have to hand it to the Arnold people for stepping up to the plate and throwing another $100,000 into the prize bucket, because look at this was, we were only missing Brandon Curry, Hadi Chupin, and Derek Lunsford. That's it. This was basically the Olympia without 3 people.
Ron?
Yes.
I tell you what, Samson looks absolutely huge. He's making Andrew Jack look thin. Yes.
No, and you're going to get it now, Joe.
No, he is. Look at him now. I mean, Andrew Jack is a big guy. He's a near 300-pound guy himself, but he makes Andrew Jack look like he needs another 20 pounds. Really look at it now. Look at it. Look at Samson. I mean, he is really thick. I mean, wow. Yeah. Well, maybe not so much in that shot, but the front shots and the side shots, you can see like Andrew Jack's very wide, but in the side shots, he maybe lacks a little bit of density, which will come as he kind of keeps progressing, he's probably going to have it in the next year or two. But I think Samson's just a little bit ahead because really those two guys are neck and neck. Because I said to Samson, I said to Milos as well, I said, if you could just stay ahead of someone like an Andrew Jack, that's enough to keep you pushing forward because he is right on your tail, you know? So, and the thing is, we've got some really good tall guys and really good short guys now. You've got Abby and Derek at the Olympia, the 1 and 2 at the Olympia, good short guys. And the thing is now you've got this influx of good tall guys. We have Samson, Andrew Jack, Crizzo, Rafael Brandao, Quinton Area. So there's an era of short and tall guys coming into the pro scene now that are it's really adding a lot of excitement.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Andrew, when he's a little bit thicker, he's going to be pushing Samson hard. Yeah, Ramy, that's his midsection is still it's an issue in that pose for sure.
Raymond says, Giles, please stop the madness.
Which madness is he referring to? Like,
you know what? Ron, before I was interrupted by Raymond there, I was just about to say, look at Andrew Jack's midsection. Look at his abs. They're absolutely incredible. Look at his ab shot when he hits an ab and thigh. They're so flat. And I swear that's what I was going to say before Raymond said what he said.
Can we, Jen, can we look at the other call-out video, which is just the top 4?
Yes.
So this was when things, I think, shifted. This is where I think the second night was obviously where Samson pulled ahead. Well, although the score sheet said he was ahead all the time anyway. But in my mind, it was much closer Friday night. Saturday night is when things changed. That's when Ramy got ahead of Shawn definitively. In my mind, even though the score sheets indicate it was, again, score sheets don't tell you how close things really are sometimes, you know. But so this was the top 4, and this is when we knew for sure this was the top 4. I didn't see Ramy in the fight. A lot of people were getting excited because they saw Ramy in this call out, but it was just the top 4. But yeah, look at that. It was such a competitive top 4. I mean, would you have had a riot if any of these 4? Like, what if Ramy had been chosen as the winner? Do you think there would have been a riot?
No, I don't think there would have been. Maybe Marlenka might have chucked a chair or 2.
Yeah, that's a loyal woman.
I tell you what, you can see a real difference between the day 1 and day 2. Samson looks so much better on day 2, and Andrew Jack really has faded here. If you look at his quads, his back, he really flattened out overnight. Whereas Samson kind of, it basically flip-flops.
Guys, I need to interrupt you for a second. We have a super chat in the chat from our very great member, Hassan V. Zazan in Turkey. He's given us 20 Turkey dollars that says, this show rocks. You are the best, Ron, Giles, and Jen.
Thank you. And you know,
thank you, Hassan.
Thank you, Hassan. And we extend, we hope things are improving over there. They're recovering from the horrible disaster, the earthquake. Very tragic. So many lives lost. Thoughts and prayers are with your people, the people of Turkey.
Little known fact that Hassan is helping with the relief effort.
Oh, wow.
Good on you, mate.
You're a good man, Hassan. Yeah.
He's a good dude.
That's doing God's work.
And you know what? I appreciate the support. I appreciate the support from everyone who watches and comments and everything. But the ones that are really consistent and really show up for every single show, like Hassan and people like that, I really, really appreciate these guys. Even Raymond Jones, who calls me an Andrew Jack hater, I love you too, mate.
Well, if everyone like those top 3 all had their supporters, and Ramy obviously top 4. So, I don't get it. I don't take it personal when I'm being called a Ramy hater or this hater or that hater. I know they just want to hear that their guy should have won or is going to win. And if you disagree with that, you know what? That's a loyal fan. If I was one of these guys, I'd be so happy to have fans like that are always have my back. And maybe they're willing to overlook. Maybe I need a body part better or something else. But anything, let's get a couple comments from the chat, Jen, about the Open before we move on to Classic. Does anyone have anything else they want to know about?
We got a ton of questions. I'll go ahead and put them on the screen if I can. Let me just see if I can do that. I'm going to make this a little bigger so we can highlight the super chats and such.
Young, handsome Ron there. Purple shot.
Yeah, that was.
What year?
They can't see that, right? No. That was. They can't see that, right, Jen? That picture.
What?
That black and white picture. They can't see that, right?
What black? The one in the corner?
The one that you have in like your avatar there.
No.
Okay, good. Giles is referencing it.
Jen, do you have Ron as your avatar for your profile picture? Are you catfishing us?
She's catfishing. She's getting.
Yes, Giles, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yes, man. Oh, so this okay, wow. Okay, Okechukwu Daniel. He's got to be from Nigeria. Daniel, Mike Cockchurch also take advantage of social media promotion. No, if this was going by social media promotion and numbers and stuff, Andrew Jack would have won or Nick Walker would have won. They're both far more popular on social media than Samson doesn't. He doesn't really play the social media game as well or as devotedly as some of these guys do. I think he's too busy focusing on becoming a better bodybuilder. But Notorious.
Well, I don't know. He does a lot himself.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Andrew Jack, because he came up through association with Larry Wheels, who has a zillion followers. He had a little advantage there. Let's see. I like all the competitors, but Andrew and Samson's right call. What's next for Kamal? Says Mike Cox. Good question. Do you know?
Well, I said he was going to do the Masters Olympia, but he also said to me off camera, and he said, "Oh no, look, it depends on prize money." So I'm guessing he's a bit upset about what happened at the Arnold Classic because he didn't look very good. I saw the live stream, and rear shots. He looked it's the first time I've seen him actually not in very good condition. So I'd imagine he's going back to a drawing board to kind of bring a better package. But just really what he brought to Tampa, I think maybe he was trying to come in too heavy for this. Maybe I think he just thought, okay, I've got the Arnold Classic, I've got to come in really, really big, when really all he had to do was really bring just basically what he brought to Tampa. Like Shawn Clarida didn't try and come in at 190 or anything to try and he's bringing the best version of his physique, and it doesn't necessarily mean coming in trying to play a different game. So I really, really hope, but also. In terms of the Masters Olympia, if you noticed, every category has been lowered now to age 40 and over.
Yes.
So
very interesting.
That means that potentially you could have Bonac, Brandon Curry. That really opens up a new conversation for much, much higher level competitors jumping into this. So I'd be interested to see if that entices someone like a Bonac, which obviously would probably interfere with Kamal's plans for if he does do it. Because for me, really in the open, there's no really one really to challenge. Phil Clayham maybe challenge Kamal for the Masters Olympia win in the open. So, but like I said, if Bonac jumps in, or like a Brandon Curry looking to kind of just snag a win and then another Olympia title, which is that's not a bad thing to have, then maybe that'll
Phil Heath is going to do it. I think they brought it down. No, I think they did it just for Phil.
No, not even for the relevance or whatever you want to call it. I don't think, because he's very money driven, Phil. Unless it was $500,000 and he knew he could jump in and just swoop in and pick it up, he wouldn't do it. He's not going to do it for 30 grand, mate. He's not going to come out of retirement, whatever you want to call it. Drop the hammer and stuff, because I think he looks at things very analytically in terms of what he'd be outlaying. So, but I would like to see. You said Bonac isn't going to do anything till the Arnold Classic next year, but you know what? Now the Masters Olympia has been lowered to 40. I'd love to see Bonac go in and pick up an Olympia title win here at the Masters Olympia in Cluj, Romania, in August.
Yeah, I want to address something Daniel from the chat brought up, that our podcast didn't have time to interview Andrew. I've had Andrew on Ronline like 3 or 4 times over the past year. You've had him on Global a couple times, correct?
I had him 3 or 4 weeks ago.
3 or 4 weeks ago. At the meet and greet, which was only from 7 to 9 p.m. Thursday night, I was trying to get an interview with him. And as I was making my way around the room, by the time I was over to him, he left an hour early. He left maybe less than an hour, but he left way before everybody else. I don't know what was going on, but I definitely wanted an Andrew Jack. Full disclosure here, guys, my job is to get clicks and views. And Andrew Jack, even if I did hate Andrew, which I don't, I have nothing but love and respect for Andrew Jack. But even if I hated the guy, my job is to get views on videos. So of course I would have gotten him. And as far as after the show, they did not have a backstage area as they have always had in years past. I think it's a security thing, but we always had access. The guys would come backstage and there would be setups for the different media outlets. And we would all get a chance to interview the winners and usually a few of the top guys if they would hang around for us. They don't have that anymore. No, they did not. So there's no way.
That's where we do the wrap-ups. That's where we do the interviews. That's where all the outlets are in a line, and we all take it in turns. Remember Brandon Curry and what's his name, the tamer, Gwindy brothers were like, okay, you do Brandon, we'll do Brandon. Can we do you afterwards? Yep, no problem. Bonac, he would do. They come in a line and do all their interviews. It's really easy to do it that way. That's how we've always operated backstage at the Arnold.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even get Samson's winning interview until the next day when they had the seminar with all the winners. I waited in line with everybody else as they were he was signing autographs and taking pictures with people. I waited in line, and Hector was gone. He was already driving back to Nashville at that point.
Oh, wow.
I had to do it with my cell phone, and Quint Beastwood held the phone in for me so I could do the interview. And the audio was not great. I heard about it, believe me, in the comments. But that's the only way. I couldn't get him after the show. I was messaging him. I was messaging Milos. And by the time I heard back from anyone, it was Milos. He said he just took a shower and went off to dinner with Fuad and the Hostile crew. And I'm like, well, of course. Why wouldn't he? He's starving. So yeah, believe me, we couldn't get it. If I could have gotten Andrew at any point during that weekend, believe me, I would have. I have nothing against. I'm a huge Andrew supporter. I was there. I've been to all his pro shows except for the Arnold UK I missed.
Awesome. But, bloody awesome. And do you know what? I really like him as well because I've interviewed him twice now. I did him with Ronnie Coleman. And obviously when you're interacting on DMs, messaging back and forth, and he's super polite, he's super respectful.
Yeah.
He's bloody awesome. I mean, he's come out of nowhere, this guy. I mean, he's just hit the ground running. I think he's absolutely incredible. And I do think, just like Hadi and Derek are 1 and 2 at the Olympia, you've got the Arnold, really, what I arguably 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 or whatever. It's close enough. You've got these 2 new tall guys coming in that could really it's really going to make it very interesting with Derek and Hadi this year at the Olympia. So you're going to have 2 tall guys and 2 short guys. And then you've got all the other tall and short guys. It's going to be, and I think 6'2". I mean, obviously I'm in heaven with these tall guys. I think it's awesome. There's because the thing is the tall guys can just keep on improving. Like Andrew Jack he's got a plenty he could do with his physique that could bring a completely different package for the next 5 years. Whereas the shorter guys, there's less they can do to actually, like Nick Walker, really, apart from bringing up his chest and his quads, there's not much he can really do to be better without potentially going backwards and ruining his physique. So, whereas Andrew, there's a lot there's a lot he can do to improve. So he's really in a much better position than some of these shorter guys.
Just to talk about height for a minute, if you will allow, just give me a minute here. There's not just short and tall people, everybody. There's average height too. So in America, it's probably a worldwide thing. If you're between 5'8" and 5'10", that's 50% of all male human beings in the United States. Another 25% are under 5'8", another 25% are over 5'10". So you're not either short or tall. There's a lot of average height, like Ramy. I always thought Ramy was taller, but I was standing next to him like, wow, he's not that much taller than me. He's like 5'9". But yeah, let's move on to classic guys. He's definitely not more than 5'9", because I was, I had my Nikes on, but still, he's about this tall to me, and I'm, now I'm like 5'7.5". So yeah, 5'9", 307 pounds. One
of you should.
You need to get some of those platform shoes like Kiss Sweat.
Well,
those big ones, and you walk in so you'd be like 6'3", Ron.
I don't want to be deceitful, even though if a girl has 5 pounds of makeup and lashes out to here and lip injections, that's kind of deceitful, don't you think?
Yes,
it is.
That's not what you really look like, or the filters. But let's go to classic physique. This was a crazy battle between the 2 youngsters. Well, so many of them are young, but Urs Kalaczynski and Ramon Rocha Queiroz is his actual name. Queiroz. He tried to explain. He's actually learning some English.
Is he?
And I was interviewing him, and Horse MD was the translator. But a couple times Ramon just grabbed the mic and started saying, "I want," his English it's horrible, but I don't speak any Portuguese, so I give this guy a lot of credit. A year ago, he spoke no English, and now he can do a few sentences here and there.
Can I quickly ask something? What is Horse MD up to? Because that guy I thought was going to rival Bumstead in the Classic, but he couldn't make it down. So just quickly, do you know what he's up to next, or is he just going to come back as an Open?
I didn't ask him. He looks big. There's no way he's doing Classic ever again.
He is incredible, that guy. I thought, like I said, if he could make Classic, I thought he'd have been I thought Bumstead was in trouble, mate. I think he's that good.
So look at the conditioning on these 2, Urs and Ramon. This was the best I've seen either one of them ever. 24 years old and 27 years old, these 2. Wow. Or is he 28 now? No, 27. So,
Incredible.
geez, talk about they were, second and third at Ramon, second and third at the Olympia, and now Ramon's got his first big title. Congratulations to Ramon. This was night. This is the conditioning was just spot on. His posing is getting better. Everyone looks like an amateur posing next to Urs. Urs's posing is just another level. You saw his routine. I didn't tape. We're not going to have that to show you, but he started out with a slow classic, and then he went into some EDM, some dance music, and he did the worm on stage. Who does that? He's amazing.
That was phenomenal.
Ron, can I confess? I've not seen the classic live stream yet. I've not watched it yet. But someone messaged me this morning. He said, "Did you see?" Because he told me about Urs having been in hospital a few days before having food poisoning.
Yes.
And he showed me a picture of. He showed me the link of him in hospital. And he said, he said, "I'll send you the video now." So he sent me the video of him doing all the body popping. But I didn't know he did the worm. I didn't watch it to the end. I talked to his coach Stefan, the boss of Outlaws. Yeah.
At the very end, he was the last interview I got to meet and greet. Everyone was like leaving, and Ursa's just like Samson, very accommodating, never says, never brushes me off. So thank you, Urs. I appreciate him so much. But he didn't even say anything in the interview about it. And then Stefan, coach, comes up to me and says, he was I think it was the next day. He said, he didn't say anything, but he was in the hospital for I don't know how long he was in for, but it was like 5 days out from the show. He was vomiting, diarrhea. It was they weren't sure, but it seemed to me like some bad food poisoning. He said he started coming down with all those symptoms on the plane ride to Columbus. So can you imagine having to deal with that?
And when you look at Urs, just to bring this up real quick, when you look at Urs, you can see that he's shaking visibly as he's posing. I mean, he looks great. There's no doubt about it. But Ramon clearly has the edge over him. Look at the control that Ramon has versus Urs. You can see why Ramon has that edge. And also, Ramon was just popping more. He was more defined. For me, Ramon was the clear winner here.
Well, when you realize it, I think Stefan told me for 3 full days in the early part of the week, Urs couldn't eat or drink anything. He could not get any food. He had no appetite. He was nauseated. Again, vomiting, diarrhea. So for him to even look that good and to perform as well as he did, tremendous achievement.
He was vomiting diarrhea.
Yeah. Hopefully not exactly at the same time. That'd be kind of awkward. But I guess put a bucket in front of you while you're on the toilet, I guess if you had to. I'm just trying to think of how it would work. But congratulations. But and the thing, Jose and I talked about this in our wrap up. I said, what does Urs need to do to catch Ramon? Because these two, you could see the rivalry now between these two. Because Bumstead, let's be real, Bumstead's on another level. I don't see anybody beating Bumstead for a while. But these two, eventually, if Bumstead starts to slip, or if he moves to open, or if he retires, one of these two guys is going to be the next in line. I don't see anyone else that close to the title as these two. But so Urs is not at the limit yet. He still has like 4 or 5 pounds that he could fill out and still be in the weight limit, where Ramon struggling. In fact, we saw at the Olympia, they had a whole chaotic series of events with him trying to meet the height and weight. And they brought him up to his room and stretched him out to try to make him taller. And he ran back down and just barely made it because he was like a centimeter taller for 15 minutes or something. So Ramon is maxed out. He could still, I'm not saying he can't get better. He'll improve in things like muscle maturity, detail, but I don't think he can put any more muscle on, where Urs still can. And Urs needs it. Urs needs a little more fullness and roundness in that upper body because his legs are phenomenal. He does have great wide shoulders, nice round cap delts, arms, particularly the triceps and the side shots. Jen, if we can go back to the comparison there, you'll see. Yes.
I'm really glad that he does have 4 or 5 pounds, because to fix those areas, to be able to really hang with a Ramon, he needs 4 or 5 pounds of muscle in his arms, in his back. And also, obviously the food poisoning must have affected him. He must have knocked him down 3-4%, which obviously at this level it's a lot, But Milos, we had him on the other week, and he said, Giles, he basically insinuated, because he'd seen Urs 1 week and 2 weeks before the Olympia, and he says, basically he was saying, we've never seen the best version of Urs on stage at the Olympia or the Arnold Classic yet, because he said, I'm telling you, Giles, he said, I was actually disappointed by what I saw at the Olympia with Urs, because when I saw him 2 weeks and 1 week before, he says he is actually capable. He's actually got a better physique than what he's bringing to the stage. So when he really gets his timing and his peaking right, he said he's gonna show something that we've not seen before, something much more impressive. So, and like I said, with the food poisoning, and obviously that would have knocked out a few percent. So, he kind of probably, I wouldn't have said it would have cost him the Arnold Classic win, but it certainly would have played a part in keeping him out of contention for first place and really giving Ramon hassle, because Ramon clearly, as you can see, like Jen said, he's clearly the clear winner here. Yeah. But Urs has actually a little bit of a superior shape in the legs going on. He's got different attributes to his physique that actually, with a bit more balance in that upper body, he's going to close the gap between him and Ramon. So I don't think he really pushed Ramon too hard here. But with that extra 4 or 5 pounds and peaking perfectly, then I think we're going to see a much closer rivalry in shows to come.
Yeah, Jen, if we could pull up the classic pose down, we'll see the rest of the competitors.
And look at their hair; they got beautiful hair.
They all do. Yeah, well, they're all. Yeah, there's no bald guys.
I don't even notice things like that, Ron, normally, but I just saw them there, and I was like, wow, look at their hair.
Full heads, few beautiful crops of hair on those guys. Yeah, you don't see a lot of bald heads or receding hairlines in classic.
Alex.
Yeah. So Alex was third, and that was, Alex won this a couple years ago. Very impressed with Alex. He brought a great package. Yes. I could see he was disappointed when he got third because, he came. These guys, they all come to win. They all train to win. So anything that's not first place is a letdown. But man, Alex should be very proud of himself. I thought condition was right on, posing. He brought a great package to the show. In fact, he got ahead of Mike Summerfield, who would beat him at the Olympia. Summerfeld. I keep saying Field. It's Feld. But that guy looks phenomenal. Just need a little better condition. We're looking at Courage Opara right there. Great shape on him too. Jason Brown. Junior Jaworski. I wasn't really familiar with him. That was the biggest guy up there, 6 foot or 6'1". 230 pounds. Yeah, it was a small lineup. It was only 7 guys, but quality. There was not one slouch. There wasn't anybody didn't belong on that stage. Yeah, Summerfeld. Look at the shape on that guy. He's beautiful.
Be making huge strides this year, I think.
I was trying to remember, Giles, because I said to Jose, I said, I don't know if he's ever been a 212 or open, but I said Giles would know. Do you know?
Summerfield, yeah, he was 212 for a while because he turned pro as a heavyweight in March 2018 in London at the Royal London Pro. Then he switched to 212.
Yeah.
And then he switched to classic. And then, like I said, for a couple of years, he wasn't really nailing the condition. And it looked like for one point, I thought, okay, this guy is never really going to nail it. And then, because he was working with Neil Hill, and I thought, well, if Neil Hill can't get him in condition, then no one can. Because obviously Neil's going to be putting everything into this guy. And then I think it was last year, the year before, he had 1 or 2 shows where he, like Wesley Vissers, just finally nailed it, and everything came together beautifully. And now, he's up top 5 in Olympia, and he's coming into an Arnold Classic like this as one of the favorites. So he's finally reaching that potential now, and he's really kind of hitting it. So it's great to see. But if you look what I said on the forum, on the MD forum, on the Noble forum on day 1, I said, I've got Alex a clear third. I think he's took Mike Summerfeld here because it was kind of like 2 competitions. There was, you wanted Ramon and Urs, and then you had Mike and Alex. And for me, I had Alex definitely beating Mike Summerfeld here.
Yeah, absolutely. Any questions, Jen, about Classic before I want to take a look at the awards for the Open, and then we'll wrap it up?
Oh, we got a ton of questions for Classic. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. Let me bring this super chat over. And I will get that ready.
Okay.
Where are they?
Yeah, we're already into the power hour and 13 minutes.
We're on.
Oh, we started. We had a little late start, guys.
No time limit. We're okay.
We've got to see a ring to it. Hour 73 minutes.
There we go.
I leave you alone. Okay, Sergio Oliva would not have made a weight cap, I think. What? Are they talking about Sergio Oliva Jr., Senior? Neither one of them would have made classic weight cap. They're way too big and heavy. Thanks for the show. Thank you, Hassan. God bless. Love Courage's look. Yeah, Courage. I don't know. Looks like Courage. I'm just going to call him Courage. How's that? Yeah, he looked great.
That is his name, isn't it? Courage Opara?
Courage, yeah. I believe he's Nigerian too. Nigeria's got the best genetics.
Yeah. Beautiful. I remember when he came third in 2018. I really rate him. He's got a lovely physique. He's only in his 20s. Very, very nice. He's one of my. He's a really he's kind of like one of the best of the second level guys. You know, the not top 5 Olympia guys. Because don't forget, the Olympia we had 59, and there was a top 3, and then there was everybody else, as far as I'm concerned. But he's kind of like the best of the 6th downwards. You know, that kind of level. You know, I think he's really good. He's very consistent, and always brings it. Nice poser. Very good example of classic.
Okay, live chat on the screen right now. So ask your question.
Yeah, I want to tell them to get along, guys. Stop fighting in the chat.
Yeah, we'll knock your heads together.
Well, then there would be no chat. They've got some people, they're having fun. It's okay. It's fine. As long as you're respectful to each other and not insulting, I don't have a problem with that. It's just opinions, guys.
They're being good.
Is Ramon close to weight limit, Mike? He's actually exactly at the weight limit. He's having a difficult time making weight every time now. Shredded Vernon, difficult question. What can Ramon or Urs do to defeat Sebum, or is he invincible? Yeah. He is invincible, guys. He is unbeatable. He is not human. No, he's a human. But Chris. I don't see anybody beating Chris for a very long time unless Super Chris bum. Decides to move on. Sebum, yeah.
Super bum.
Super bum.
Yeah.
Giles, do you see Ramon or Urs threatening Sebum's title anytime soon?
Sorry, I know it doesn't. I know it really takes away excitement and anticipation, but no, not whilst he's working with Hani Rambach. Because look what Hani did with him this year; it's absolutely mind blowing. No, I think he's going to win 6 and then call it a day.
Mike says Jesus can't beat Sebum. Yes, he could. Jesus is God's son; he can do anything. Oh, but Trailblazer.
Another one with nice hair. Sebum and Jesus.
Trailblazer 82, his Bonnet career over. So Trailblazer William announced yesterday in the interview during the victory seminar with a bunch of 10, 12 guys up there. He's taking off a full year. Bonnet will return next year at the Arnold Classic. He wants to spend a lot more time with his wife and his children that he admits he's been very neglectful of them while focusing on, because he had to spend so much time prepping for all these shows. It's a tough sport. It's very demanding between the training, the cardio, the posing, all the meals. It's a lot. So yeah, he'll be back.
I'd love to see him do the Masters Olympia now, though. After this, now I kind of want to see him go in and scoop up a win, just to kind of give him some, because you could see again he was at the Olympia, he just didn't look happy on stage. I think because he knew he wasn't in that first call, he gets dejected and he loses a lot of stage presence very quickly when he's not right up there. I think that's sad. So go get yourself a Masters Olympia win. Just fly over to me. It's a short flight. Go get a win and get your mojo back, mate.
I'm not laughing at you, Giles. I'm laughing at the chat. Harris Paint, no relation to me except maybe way back 1,000 years ago with the original Harrises, says, who is Giles and why is he here? They say that about me. I've heard them say that about me too, so whatever.
Yeah, I've only been around 28 years.
Yeah, if you don't know who Giles is, come on, guy. You really haven't followed the sport that well. He's been covering the sport since he was 17, am I right? 16, 17? Yeah, he was shooting pro shows at age 17, so there you go.
Yes, and
anyway, the Tiger.
16.
Yeah, let's go.
16. If you watch Giles and Jen last week, yeah, we talked about that.
That's ridiculous, baby Giles. Yeah, he had long curly hair back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you? Oh, look at
him. Were you a ginger? Was that red?
1993. That was Charles Clement. Charles Clement had just beaten Flex Wheeler and Kevin Navarone at the 1993 British Grand Prix. And there's me with my beautiful classic bodybuilding hair.
Did you have red hair?
Dan just asked, were you a ginger, Giles?
No, I was never ginger.
Nothing wrong with being a ginger.
I
was running after ginger women, but
I mean, Parkman on South Park had a bias against gingers, but that's a cartoon. Jen, can we pull up the awards for the Open?
Yes, we can.
I think that'll be a appropriate way to wrap all our discussion up. Just take a look at the final moments of the show. There weren't a whole lot of surprises until we got to the top 3. I think everybody, like I said, I think the crowd was evenly split. The Open awards. Yeah,
Ron, did you disagree with any of the results? Did you, when you were there, sat with Jose? Did you go, "Ooh, didn't expect that one"?
Where is it?
Honestly, I like I said, the top 3. I was because I thought it could have gone any of 3 ways.
Yeah,
there were boos at every announcement. Third place, boo. Second place, boo. First place, boo. No, there were a lot of cheers and boos because each one of those guys had their supporters out in the crowd. they all had their own unique attributes. They're all tremendous bodybuilders. Yeah. Who was shooting this? Was he on crack? That was me.
That's what happens when you get a lot of big name guys in a show like this, you know, because like there was literally 5 guys that could potentially win this, 5, 6 guys, you know, and they all, someone also said, like, you know, they all brought it as well. They all, pretty much everyone brought a really good package. I think Andrew Jack, Samson, Clarida, definitely brought the best package they've ever brought. Nick Walker probably brought, you know, arguably one of the best packages because he's very consistent, you know. Clarida, who else? That was pretty much it. Akeem brought the best package he's brought since 2020. So it was a good show for guys actually bringing their best.
I just wanted to run because we've only been talking about top 5. I wasn't even aware of the final placings until late yesterday. So Akeem was 6th, William Bonac was 7th, Justin Rodriguez was 8th, Kamal Garni was 9th, and Patrick Moore was in 10th. Just want to give these guys credit because they were all giving their best up there. But there's Andrew. Everybody was gracious. Well, I think you'll see when Nick gets second, he's clearly he wasn't being like bitter or anything, but you could see how disappointed he was.
He's a hungry young lion, isn't he? He's going to be disappointed unless he wins because he goes in and he programs his mind that he's already won it before he gets to the shot. I kind of like that, but the thing is, there's a very fine line between being a good sport and a bad sport, or appearing to be, because you are so confident and you have so much self-belief.
Here we go. So I zeroed in on him.
How that projects. You've got to be careful how that projects. It can be taken one of a few different ways, you know.
You know, a lot of competitors out there, if you compete, you know, this is the most tense moment when they're down to top. You're in the top, you know, you're in the top 2, but you don't want to hear your name called in second place. And when you do, it's like, damn it. Why couldn't they call the other guy's name? Why did it have to be me? But yeah, you know, he's gracious. He's not like scowling or giving anyone the stink eye or anything like that. But yeah, he worked very hard, and you know, nothing to be ashamed of. He's an Arnold Classic champ. He's 3rd place in the world at the last Olympia. Still has a tremendously bright future. He's still in his 20s. Good things ahead for all these guys. We are seeing a changing guard. This new talent coming up these past couple of years. We're seeing some amazing new talent.
So, Ron, just off the top of your head, what's the next few pro shows? When's the next one? I haven't checked the calendar.
I mean, I'm only thinking the next one I'm going to. I'm sure there's got to be one before that, but New York Pro is until May.
And then Arnold Brazil in April.
Yeah, and we have.
Okay. So there's no Boston this year. There's no immediate shows afterwards in Europe or anything.
Just the only ones I know about after that: Toronto, Chicago, Tampa, Texas. Okay. I'm sure there's probably like 30 shows in Portugal and Alicante. Probably all on the same weekend.
All over my side. Remember after the post-Olympia shows last year, or the pre-Olympia shows last year, it was all Prague, Romania. They were all over our side of the world. Apart from the Legion, it was all European shows. It was great for me.
Weren't there like 2 alone in Alicante? 2 different shows?
Yeah, within a few weeks. Big Man Weekend and the NPC European.
Yeah, and they had one one in Paris last year.
Yeah.
Obviously the Arnold UK. Yeah. Yeah, they're killing over there. So there's Arnold giving Samson his award.
I've heard a rumor that they might be doing an Arnold UK, but the Arnold themselves promoting, not collaborating with a Tony Doherty or anyone like that. Thinking of maybe, because obviously the show's established, and they want to keep it going because it's, you know, the expo is huge. So I really look at Samson. I'm so happy for him there.
Let me ask you this, Giles. You know Europe very well. If you're the Arnold committee and you can only pick one place in all of Europe where you think you're going to draw the best crowd, what would be the best place to put an Arnold Classic in Europe? If you could only pick one.
No,
UK? Okay, fair enough.
I think, and also that Birmingham, the NEC venue, that's a really good place to put it because geographically, it's English speaking. A lot of Europeans. You're going to get all the Americans. I think it's probably the Arnold UK is probably, if I was the Arnold promoter and I had to, make a choice, it's a shame they can't get that Arnold Europe back, the Spain one. It's a shame they can't hop just and go completely in with the Pro League because I don't really see the point of just sticking with that Santoya side. I don't really see the point because they're not going to bring any names. Crizzo's hopped over now. It's the pro shows are complete. It's just really the expo. Really, that's all the Arnold Europe is now, the Spain one.
Wow.
You know, but I'd love to see the Arnold Europe just basically move to the UK, and then they just because the NEC, you've been there. Remember 2010 when you came to Body Power?
Yep.
That's where they have the Arnold UK, and it's a fantastic, world-renowned venue. Very easy access, right next to the airport. It's not in the middle of a city. But it's 20, 30 minutes from Birmingham. I think that would be a really good one.
Plenty of parking. I was there with Simon. Simon Fan drove me in his Beamer.
Fields of it.
Yeah. Jen, you want to we'll take a couple more questions from the chat and then call it a show.
Sounds good. Okay, let me get the chat up. Just one sec. We're almost there.
Yep.
Green tea is working its way through my system, so I need to go soon.
Oh boy. Oh, we lost it there.
There we go. Should be able to see it now.
It went away. I couldn't. Now I can't. Oh, there we go. It's back. Let's see. Ramon's amazing. He's going to have a hard time staying classic. I don't know, Gregory. I think he can stay there. He just can't gain any more weight. Can't gain any more size. Then we're actually need to raise weight cap to bring competition to CBUM. I don't want to see the weight cap raised in classic. Leave it alone. If these guys can't make it, then just leave. Put some size back on and come back in.
Sorry, I made a little error. I'll get it back up. Don't worry.
Ron, I mean, I know it's because obviously it's been so much focus on the Arnold and everything else. I'm excited to see what Crizzo does next, mate.
Yeah, Crizzo. Don't forget about Crizzo.
6 foot.
I'd selfishly, because I'm going to be there. I'm very greedy this way. I want him in the New York Pro. Yeah. I'd love to see him come and crush the New York Pro. Yeah, imagine that.
Awesome. That'd be so awesome.
The New York Pro has always been about freaks. They love the freaks in that part of the U.S. So they would tear the roof off if he came and won that show. And why wouldn't he?
I want to see him in amongst, with the other tall guys, Rafael Brandao, Quinton Area, Samson, Andrew Jack, because I think Andrew Jack and Crizzo were two of the biggest talking points last year. They were really exciting. I think Samson's just kind of pulled ahead enough of Andrew Jack now, but I think Andrew Jack and Crizzo, I'd like to see like a head-to-head in, say, like a Chicago or Tampa or something, just to really hype it up to see those two guys, because, Crizzo's another guy that's capable of big improvements, and, and he saw what he did. He looked really good at the Olympia. But he's only 32, so like I said, once he announces his next pro show, I think it's all going to be like it has been for Andrew Jack and and everybody else. I think it's going to be really exciting to see him back up on stage, because I tell you what, that guy has got serious potential, and everyone loves a freak, because obviously Ruli's kind of done now, and I think he fills that space, he fills that slot really nicely.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they announce they got rid of the point system?
Yes.
It's gone. So people need to win shows now. So Andrew Jack does not qualify for the Olympia. He's going to have to do something. He's going to have to win something to get to the Olympia. He can't be done, or else he's not going to the Olympia. Nick Walker, I think top five from the Olympia will still qualify. So he's all set. Yeah. But I don't think he would have done a later show anyway. But yeah, we're going to see more of these guys if they want to get to the Olympia. Those who didn't make top 5 last year, they're gonna have to come out and win something. Jen, we were trying to get the chat up, or
we just had a little glitch. It's coming up in a minute.
No worries. Yeah. That picture of me, the old black and white picture, makes me sad.
Guys, also check out the next Global. We did a really good episode yesterday. I can't wait for it to go out. We got a very when the rotator goes out and the picture goes out and he knows in it, it's going to be a really exciting one. I think it's going to be a great.
I don't think why don't we get people hyped about it now?
Yeah,
let's do it now.
You're live.
Yeah, who's going to be on, Giles? Wednesday morning at 9:15. Who you got?
We got the King back.
Zach.
Ronnie Coleman. Oh, Zach.
Yeah. Zach Khan. He came back on, and we had him over an hour. And Derek was involved, because Derek, we had the mic on Derek and the camera on Derek. We already, 3 of us, because he knows Derek. He knows Derek really well. So it was really like 3 of us. It was kind of like a real kind of group chat. We got on some really good subjects. We went right through the Arnold. It was like an Arnold review special. We did all the live stream review. We reviewed the posing routines, the award like we're doing now, the comparisons. We got, mine and Derek's take on it. Really good episode. Really, really good.
Zach is he's my favorite global muscle guest, Zach Khan. He's he knows his shit. He knows bodybuilding now. He's hilarious. He does not have a filter. He says some very politically incorrect things, but He's
So
hilarious.
we'll
He doesn't
definitely
care.
demonetized this week. That's great.
Great. Well, after filming, I said, Derek, I said that I'm so happy with that global. I said we need to go for Nando's and celebrate. So we drove into town. We got a Nando's, and he said, Giles, just one thing. He says, I said, oh, we clinked glass. I said, oh, congrats, I'll make great episode. Let's toast to a really good episode of Global. And he said, one thing though. He says, does the swearing put your audience off? I says, no, they love it. I said, it's the opposite. And he went, oh, phew, okay. But it's funny because obviously Derek's like, he's religious, you know. Derek's very kind of, you know, he's a very straight guy, you know. Yeah. And Zach was coming out with some stuff, and I said, Zach, I said, I can feel Derek shaking his head here, like disapproving of our, you know. He said, yeah, he's like a disapproving dad shaking his editors. But I looked over, and Derek was laughing his head off.
Here, I have her the one. The poll. What poll? Oh, yeah. So let's go to that. Giles, Nimz keeps asking, what's your prediction on Krizo this Olympia?
I think he'll move up into the top 10.
Oh, I go higher. If he can make improvements from last year, I'm gonna go top 6 for Krizo.
No. You think about who's in the top 6 this year, mate.
Yeah, sure.
I could see him moving up 4 or 5 spots. I could see him around 7th, 8th, 9th.
Zach is hilarious. I agree. Trailblazer 82, should 212 come back to the Arnold? Well, of course we're going to say yes. Yeah, of course we're going to say that. So Arnold, they don't have 212 anymore. Women's bodybuilding was gone a long time ago. They dropped women's physique this year, and they dropped women's figure this year. Those were not represented at the show. So, but it's their show. It's the only show that they don't feature all the divisions. Every other show, pro show, the Olympia, all the way down to the shows like Tampa and Chicago, I think they're actually obligated. They can't skip any divisions. No, that's not true. That's not true. A lot of shows don't have women's bodybuilding. So maybe they do have that discretion. But 212, I don't think they're going to bring it back because they're getting the best 212 guys in the open anyway. They had Kamal. They had Shawn. Yeah, I could see like Angel Calderon Frias doing the Arnold Classic Open maybe next year. He would have been right out. He would have been right at home on stage this year. Let's see. Trailblazer also wants to know, is it true a really good tall bodybuilder will always beat a great short bodybuilder? No, I wouldn't say that. What do you think, Charles?
Depends on how good they are, really. I mean, if it's like, look what happened with Ramy and Clarida. You know that. I mean, would it, like you said, would anyone would have argued if Clarida had beat Ramy in that comparison? No. But then now I think the judging is so good. We saw what happened at the Olympia with Hadi and Derek. It doesn't matter what height you are, you will be judged on your physique, not your dimensions, which is exactly how it should be judged. Like, you know, when the days of Muhammad Kawe and Lee Haney, when Leela Barada was, 5'4", 5'5", was, I think it comes down to the physique. If your physique is good enough, you will be a good taller guy. If it's, if you have a better physique. So I think
Shawn beat Akeem Williams. Shawn beat Akeem here. I mean, Akeem is certainly much taller, much heavier. Justin significantly taller. Patrick Moore much taller.
So he did slay some giants.
He did slay. That was another poll, right? Wasn't that a poll that you did?
We did, yes.
You want to bring that one up? That'll be our final poll?
Yeah, I can do that. All right, let me go ahead and screen here. And
we like to do the polls for you guys. We like to see what you think about certain questions.
Polls are fun.
It's always
interesting.
You
get a kick out of them.
It's a lot of math, all those percentages. So I got to get my calculator out.
All right.
People are like, what's a calculator? Do I have a calculator here? There's a lot of people watching. They're young and they're like, calculator. What's that?
Which one?
Yeah,
which one first? The Giant Killer or the Arnold Classic poll?
Well, we already saw the Arnold Classic poll.
We didn't do the questions from the Arnold Classic poll.
Oh, we didn't. Let's see that one.
Let's do that one. All right.
Time. Oh, you're 5 hours ahead of me.
Yeah. Also, look, I found my 2013 Arnold Classic. Well, it doesn't say the year on it because the thing is, 2011, I was there with bodybuilding.com, so it's not with MD.
Yeah.
So
see it now?
I've got like you, I've got all my lanyards.
Who do you have to win tonight? So that was Saturday. This poll came out. Okay, so you see it changed. So before the show, it was pretty much dead even, 32, 32, 33. And by Saturday, the next day, it had changed to
this is today.
Shawn
This
Clarida.
is real time as of today.
This is okay.
But what we had on the closing of it, it was 33, 32, 32.
Yeah.
And then Clarida
Well,
was
see,
at 3%.
when did this stop? So when was this poll stopped, or is it still going?
It's no, it's still going. You can't stop it. But the screenshot that I have was right before the finals, so that's
Yeah,
the
'cause
one we're going by.
they're
Funny
voting on
enough,
who's going to win tonight.
Funny enough, Samsons have gone up since the show.
Yeah. Well, now they're like, oh, okay, now I like them.
Well, here's the meat and potatoes, the comments. So pick your favorites.
Close call. Go root for Samson. Everyone brought their A game. Literally close between that three. Yeah. Yeah. If any of them had won, any of those three had won, I wouldn't have been upset. Samson, Nick, and Andrew all tonight. To be fair, won the closest top three for a while. Absolutely, it was. Damn, I had high hope for Shawn Clarida. Would have been absolutely epic win. I agree. That was my wish list win, and only because I love movies like Rocky and Rudy and the Mighty Ducks and those sports movies where the underdog against all odds wins the big title or the big fight or the big game. I love those movies. So if Shawn Clarida had won this, I would have been so happy. But
Ron,
yeah,
I feel like finally, I think we need to draw attention to when people say so and so dwarfed so and so. It's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant because it's not judged upon how, like you said, like short guys beat tall guys. Like I said, Derek and Hadi, they're beating Samson and Ramy at the Olympia. So dwarfing someone is irrelevant. It's in bodybuilding competition. It's kind of a meaningless throwaway comment when you're trying to decide who's best because, you could stand Jamie the Giant next to Shawn Clarida. Yes, he's going to dwarf him, but he's probably not going to beat him.
and that phrase isn't always in reference to height. I think a lot of times they're using it to talk about just a difference in overall mass. And I mean,
right.
I think Nick Walker, in terms of just raw thickness, is bigger than Samson. He's thicker than Samson or Andrew, but the judges saw Samson as the best physique. It's just one factor. Size is just one of many factors.
So does Nick dwarf Samson then?
Yes. It's not that drastic a difference.
Are we talking about height or muscle size? Because I think some people I'm not sure. I'm not clear on what they're defining it as.
The nebulous term for sure. Closest show I think I've seen anywhere. In a fairer world, Ramy should be there contending for the win. He was that good and improved. Dwarfing was on another level. Double the size of everyone in shape. See, there's dwarfing. Yeah. You know what's funny? I was looking at one of those pages, Buys and Tries or something. They were just showing video of Ramy, and then all the comments, a lot of the Ramy fans were saying he was robbed. Jim Mannion was mad at him, and they said the judges didn't like him because of the stem cell treatments. I'm like, what? What the heck? How could that possibly matter to anybody? Why would you be anti-stem cells? Or that one really puzzled me. They don't like Ramy because he's getting stem cell treatments.
Can you imagine if the guy giving you the stem cells drops it and smashes the syringe and it's like, oh shit, that's 10 grand gone.
It's pricey. It is pricey. Yeah, I love when people, they all mean well, but if I mention that I've got a bad shoulder or something, they say, well, do this or that therapy. And I look it up, it's like $10,000, $20,000. I'm like, dude, I make okay money, but you think I'm really going to spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars so I can lift heavy weights again? Come on.
Did you see though that stem cell, there's been a couple of people cured of HIV.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw it on it was Valuetainment. Valuetainment posted about it. They said there's two people now, they've been given the all clear because they've been getting stem cell for HIV and it's cleared it. It's got rid of it. So stem cell, I think stem cell, obviously now we're going to start seeing a lot more. And the thing is, if bodybuilding is proved to work for bodybuilders, like with Ramy and Ronnie, and there's some real, like in a couple of years, there's some data that comes out and Ronnie and Ramy and doctors say, yes, it has. Could you imagine all the bodybuilders jumping on that to get the edge for recovery, for injuries, there'll be guys coming out of retirement doing the Masters Olympia because they can fix, if it is like a cure-all kind of thing and it's proved to be that, I mean, I tell you what, stem cell, forget longevity clinics and TRT and all that. They're going to be jumping on this bloody. You're going to see Backstreet stem cell bloody. Get your stem cell for $500.
I mean, the prices would theoretically come down. I mean, when things become a lot more in demand and the base is so much bigger, the price could come down significantly over the next few years.
Jay and Ronnie at the Masters Olympia.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but I'd rather see. I don't want to see Ronnie back on stage. Phil, yeah, but Ronnie, let's leave Ronnie alone. Let Ronnie
No, but
do,
I'm saying, like with stem cell, if it is proved, and there
I
is
see.
the amount of bodybuilders that are going to swoop on this, it's going to be crazy. So I'd be interested to see what happens.
Sounds like something you found on the Y-Files.
The Y-Files. That's one of Jen's
I
favorites
love
channels.
that channel. It's like ancient aliens combined with unsolved mysteries. It's fantastic. And there's the talking fish.
I don't like
I
Hecklefish.
love
I'll be honest
Hecklefish.
with you,
He's
Jen.
cute.
He sounds like Woody Allen or something. I don't know. He annoys me.
So shout out,
just get rid of the fish.
Shout out to the Y-Files.
Have you watched any of those, Giles?
I've never heard of it.
He's got a talking goldfish. It's
Okay.
I'll send you.
Anyway.
I'll send you a good one.
Gosh. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up, guys. So Wednesday at 9:15, an awesome second recap of the Arnold Classic with plenty more footage. And Giles is there with Zach King Khan. Wow. If any of you don't know Zach, you guys are in for a treat. This guy he was a great bodybuilder, still is, but he is hilarious. He could do stand-up comedy, although a lot of our American viewers, Giles, have said they would like subtitles just for him. He's a little hard to, because he's got
Zach, it's silly saying Zach was on form because he's always on form, but and every time he's on, he delivers something a little bit different. He shows like another element of his personality, and he really says some really cool things about his stuff I didn't know about his being friends with Samson in the early days, how he helped him at the start. He talks. I didn't know about all this. I was like, wow, you see my reaction. I'm like, I didn't know this. He really helped Samson at the start and really helped advise him. And it's funny because a lot of stuff you don't hear about it until they tell you, so, but it's a really good episode, and it's nice to hear his opinion and take on the Arnold Classic. And also really, when we saw Phil Heath doing the live stream, you realize actually they've got a lot of knowledge on the sport itself. So it's a really good episode, and I'm really glad I got him on.
Giles, you're losing your voice, so I think we better let you go.
Also, I just want to give.
And I gotta go pick Lauren up from work because she's done her exam for her accountancy thing today, so I gotta pick her up from work.
Oh, wait a minute. So she's that pretty and she's smart. Get out of here.
Hey,
ridiculous.
Lauren.
All right.
Awesome.
Job,
Also, I want to give a shout out. Happy birthday to my husband Marty. Yesterday was his 61st birthday.
Happy birthday, Marty. Yeah. I'm sure Marty's behind the scenes on all these, making sure the dogs don't come in and destroy your show. So, Jen's got 2 dogs over 100 pounds
and
each.
2 cats.
Some big boy.
But they're not 100 pounds each. Well, 3 cats.
The dogs do not eat the cats, thank goodness. So I think Branch would eat a cat if we had a cat, so it's not going to happen. Anyway, so guys, yeah, check that out. Wednesday at 9:15 Eastern, MD Global Muscle with Giles Thomas, Derek, and Zach King Khan. Way more review of the show with a lot of live stream footage is going to be in there. So plenty more analysis. This is a great show. So we're going to talk about it for a little while longer. But we appreciate all you people out there all over the world who joined us today for this live show. We love engaging with you in real time live. It's a treat for us as well as it is for you. So thanks for watching. We appreciate it so much. Yeah, there's MD. And that's it. Thanks for watching the MD Power Hour with Giles Tiger Thomas and me, Ronnie P. And Jen behind the scenes, keeping it all going from Long Island, New York.
Yes, Long Island, New York.
Long Island, New York. It's actually a real place. It's where Amityville was in Jaws. So it was actually Martha's Vineyard. But thanks for watching. We'll see you at the next edition of MD Power Hour. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.